Kingdom's Wealth and Wisdom, brought to you by Petra Worldwide. Here is Nathan Weaver.
Greetings and welcome to Kingdom's Wealth and Wisdom. I'm Nathan Weaver, founder and executive director of Petra Worldwide. As your small business grows, scaling your internal team is a natural step. However, many business owners encounter trouble managing the regulations of the company's payroll. Way too often, business owners assume that writing physical checks and manually calculating the employee withholdings is harmless energy saving strategy. But today, we're going to explore why that's not the case. We're going to talk about the challenges and the solutions of managing payroll and why calculating your team's compensation by hand is a very risky task. So, one of the most common traps we see new clients fall into is the manual spreadsheet trap. Manually calculating payroll on paper and using Excel modeling is not a scalable solution. The founders and the owners, they track the hours on paper and then they run manual data spreadsheets. And really, I get why they're doing this. They're trying to lower the software and technology costs. They assume they are protecting the margins by avoiding the cost of specialized software, but here's the problem with that. Manually calculating payroll makes a compliance nightmare because the moment a mathematical or classification error is made, the federal and state labor departments can halt all your momentum and slap you with some pretty big fees and interest, back penalties, and back tax assessments. That just becomes a nightmare. Also, the huge loss of time, the time and effort it takes to do this manually as opposed to allowing the software to keep up with the compliance and regulatory environments and all the calculations.
Pastors and financial leaders, do you need expert accounting or tax help? Do you have payroll or 1099 questions? Do you need a ministry expert to help you acquire real estate for your next project? If the answer is yes, yes, and yes, visit petraworldwide.org. Petra Worldwide has been strengthening ministries to transform humanity since 2007. Visit petraworldwide.org or call 855-481-9095.
For those of you who have experience managing your payroll or have run into any issues, you already know that the IRS and state regulatory bodies enforce very rigid penalties and enforcement criteria around payroll. Payroll is considered a trust account, a trust fund. Once you process a payroll, once an employee earns wages, those wages no longer belong to the company. Those wages have to be placed in trust. And so the regulatory penalties that come from mismanagement of that trust can be severe. In the current tax year, the complexities really focus on three main areas. The FICA matching. This is where the employers are legally mandated to match the Social Security and Medicare contributions for their employees, 7.65%. And then that 7.65% consists of 6.2 for Social Security, 1.5 for Medicare. The software will allow those calculations to be done very easily. The compliance side of this also says where there are moving regulatory caps on those same contributions for Social Security and for Medicare. So currently, Social Security caps at $184,000. Trying to keep up on a spreadsheet of when that is manually happening can really, really cause you a headache. So let's keep this in mind. Let's think about this. Time is money. And to the extent you can allow software to save you time and take away the risk by letting the calculations not come from your pencil, but from your software, you're going to save yourself time and money. I'm Nathan Weaver. Lead with confidence, live with integrity, and build something that lasts.
Listen every day at 4 p.m. for Kingdom's Wealth and Wisdom, brought to you by Petra Worldwide, strengthening ministries to transform humanity. On the web at petraworldwide.org.